Hey everybody, it's Danette Maddie. I'm the director of Christ Place Leadership College at Christ Place Church in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we are on day 27 of our 10,000 Reasons journey. And today's theme is resistance. I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone today and get in a little workout, emphasis on little, and do our devotional with you. So I'm doing this plank here, as you can see, and in about a minute my body is going to be screaming in agony. Just stick around, it might happen. But I immediately thought of how every other day I like to do a little resistance exercises because it's good for you. And this theme of resistance in Nehemiah is pretty strong. Resistance to opposition. And the scripture reads this way in Nehemiah 4:10. In Judah it was said, "The strength of those who bear the burden is failing. There is too much rubble. By ourselves we will not be able to rebuild the wall." And our enemies said, "They will not know or see till we come among them and kill them and stop the work." Stop, which is what I'm going to do right now. Woo, it's tiring, but it's good for you. So I always encourage people to do a little resistance exercise in between their aerobics. I'm not a big fitness buff, but I do want to be healthy and strong. Okay, I switched places on you because there's another little resistance exercise I want to show you that maybe some of you do this. If you like to rock climb, this is good for your fingertips and your wrists and your brachial radialis. And if you're like the rest of us and you just want to open jars without having to scream for somebody else to help you, this is good. And I just take these little guys, little 5-pound weights, not that heavy. You could use 3-pound weights or 7 or 8-pound weights, but I rest them at the edge of my fingertips and I just hold them there for as long as I can. Now the first 20 seconds, I may not feel it too much. After about a minute, I'm going to feel it. After about a minute and a half, it's going to hurt probably. After about 2 minutes, I may start crying, and that's okay. But it's good for you. Now if I only did this once in a while, it wouldn't serve any purpose except to make me sore the next day. But over time, it's going to help me because resistance makes us strong. And that's what I want you to remember. Resistance makes us strong. And we read in our devotional today that there was some resistance and opposition. You had this guy, Tobiah was his name. And as I'm reading Nehemiah chapter 4, it reads like an action movie. Well, it reads more like a junior high interaction. This guy, he's mocking them, saying, you know, if even a fox walked across this wall, it would fall down on top of it. Real mature Tobiah. And Nehemiah, he gets pretty hacked, but he doesn't smart off. You know, if I were him, I'd have been like, okay, hold up, home slice. But he didn't do that. He prayed. He just immediately began to pray. And they came up with a plan. And they stationed people all around the wall to guard it against these guys because this opposition was pretty serious about coming against them and not letting them finish this wall. But they split their group in half, and half of them would work during the day, and half of them would guard the walls. Well, our situation may not be that serious. Then again, some of your situations may be even more serious. But in our devotional today, it talked about resistance and opposition coming from the outside, maybe somebody mocking or saying, you know, that's probably not a practical idea, or you can't do that, you can't afford that, you don't have the time for that. But more often than not, the resistance comes from the inside. You know, I don't have time for that. I don't think I'm that brave. I don't think I'm that talented. I don't think I can do that. Even our verse, it talked about them saying, there's too much rubble. By ourselves, we're not going to be able to rebuild that. And our enemies, blah, blah, blah. Somebody call the wambulance. And actually, they weren't whining. They really had legitimate concerns, just like you and I. When we're coming up against something that we're trying to do and accomplish, we may have legitimate, practical, logistical concerns. But let's take a cue from Nehemiah. He prayed, he sought the Lord, and then he came up with a plan. And he was committed to that plan. You know, not long ago, Pastor Lance Riley, he preached a message, and I posted this quote on my Facebook, and it says, "Understand that your faith is like a muscle. Let's not let our faith atrophy, that is, to decline due to neglect or unuse." So in the same way that we want to get a little fit and we want to let resistance make us strong, in the same way in our faith, let's let resistance make us strong.